Good evening, Drink Less, Feel Fresh family. Tommy Cartwright here, founder of Drink Less, Feel Fresh. Jump straight into the chat panel. A couple of things. Can you see the screen and can you hear me? Would love to know who's on the call with us, who's rocking out. Just scroll above or below the screen. You'll find the chat panel and you'll be able to comment right in there. I'm just going to move a couple of things around. There's the chat panel. Who's on the call? Jump into the chat panel. Would love to know who's rocking out with us. Justine, so good to see you here. Thank you for letting me know you can see and hear me. We're going to rock and roll hang around here for about 60 to 90 seconds, give everyone a chance to jump on the call, and then we'll dive on into it. Don't worry, it's going to be worth the wait. Rosie, so good to see you here, Wonder Woman. Hey, Linda, so good to see you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think I can see Giovanna on the call. Wonderful to see you here. Welcome, 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 team. I'm just letting a couple of people into the call personally. So if you see my eyes wandering around, that's me using other devices to make sure people are all ready to rock and roll. But we will dive into it in a moment. Make sure you're all looked after. Okay. All right, team. We ready to rock and roll? Thumbs up, smiley face, or a hell yeah. I'm always keeping an eye on the chat panel and comments, as your engagement does drive the depth that we go to tonight. Hi, Maria. Great to see you here. Jump straight to the chat panel. Say hello. Ready to rock and roll. Thanks, Linda. Okay, perfect. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Drink Less, Feel Fresh family members. Tommy Carrady, founder of Drink Less, Feel Fresh. Tonight we are diving into your Feel Fresh bonus masterclass, how to enjoy the festive season without overdoing it. If we haven't met before, welcome to your first class with me. This is a free masterclass that I've put together due to many of our 7-day mini challenge members wanting a little bit more support, a little bit of a kick up the bum when it comes to the festive season. Excuse me. So really looking forward to diving into this one tonight. It's one of my favorite topics all year round, which is how to deal with the festive season. And I think that comes from a 10-year background in personal development and training individuals to be the best version of themselves. Now, when you're training an individual to be the best version of themselves, the most development that they ever get is during the time of year where it's kind of hardest to be yourself. And nationally and even globally, it seems that Christmas is one of those hard times to be ourselves, and therefore it seems that alcohol intake levels seem to increase. Excuse me, please bear with me tonight. I'm just coming off the back of a flu, so I've got some water here. I'll clear my throat as much as I can. So I apologize if I do have to clear my throat a few times. Would love to ask you all a question. And please note, these classes aren't Netflix episodes, which means I don't want to just speak at you for 30 minutes. I'd like it to be engaging, and I'll dictate influence where the call goes depending on your engagement. So the more engagement that we have, A, the more you're going to get out of it, and B, the more personalized I'm going to make it to you. And so my question for you is, what are you most excited or committed or keen for when it comes to tonight? Like, why are you here? Why have you showed up tonight? Would love to ask you that question to hit the ground running. Why are you here? Why have you decided to show up to this class? Jump straight into the chat panel. Hello to all of our new members that haven't had a class with me before. It's lovely to meet you. So why are you here? That's the key. And I'll wait until we get some responses before we move on. Why are you here? Would love to hear from all of you as well. Those of you that can. Jump straight in the chat panel. Excuse me. All right, I love this. Somebody sharing, to be inspired to actually want to decrease my alcohol intake. I'm high functioning, so my life doesn't change too much, although my body isn't coping so well. Fantastic. Thank you. I love that comment. Looking forward to looking after you tonight. Would love to hear from a few more members. And please note, if you want to get more value out of the night's call, keep the comments coming through, because when there's a lack of comments, what I'll do is I'll assume that it's not resonating, or I need to slow down a little bit, and it'll slow the class down. So even if it's just a word saying, yep, got it, love it, Tom, awesome, keen, whatever it is. Rosie's sharing, I really resonate with Lita. Beautiful. Justine sharing, to get some tips on socializing without relying on alcohol to get through the event. Oh, Justine, I'm the master of socializing confidently without alcohol. I was once a people pleaser, and my biggest problem with alcohol was actually socializing. I did not know how to go to any event where there was 2 or more people and alcohol was involved and not drink. So I'm going to make sure you're looked after. Keep the comments coming through. Thank you very much. All right, what we're going to cover tonight, team. And actually, before I share that with you, is it okay if I serve you tonight from a place of deep passion, as opposed to just theory and education? But can I bring my passion with you? Can I speak fairly quickly but clearly? Is the best way I know how to do it. Would that be okay with you tonight? Please jump into the chat panel and let me know. So what we're going to cover, the number one way to plan for this festive season. Would everybody like to know the number one thing that must be addressed and looked after to plan for the festive season? Fantastic. Number 2, we're going to dive into the 6 biggest red flags that drag us all down and what to do about them. Who would like to know the red flags? Who would like to just know straight away, oh, that's what's making me uncomfortable, or that's what's triggering me to want to have a drink? Number 3, we're going to dive into the art of socializing while staying true to yourself. And number 4, we're going to finish off with a roadmap to a happier and healthier Christmas. How does that sound, team? How does tonight's class sound? Beneficial, valuable, going to be right up your alley? Thanks, Justine. Thanks, Rosie. Beautiful. Love the comments coming through. Okay. Number 1, planning, team. It's short, it's sharp, it's simple. And if this isn't addressed, then don't worry about any other tips or strategies, because nothing else is going to help. When it comes to planning, my question for you is, what is your vision for the 2023 festive season? What is your vision for the 2023 festive season? Most people want something in their lives to change without taking a moment to clarify what that change could potentially look like, which means we're just sick and tired of how things are and we want something different. Now, in order to go after something different, you have to spend a moment to clarify, what is that? What does it look like? So my question is, and you can jump straight in the chat panel here, what is your vision for the 2023 festive season look like? My vision, if it's okay to share, my vision for the 2023 festive season is to be present, calm, and capable to set myself up for an incredible start to 2024. Like many people, I've got a lot on my plate for 2024. A lot of things happening in the Drink Less Feel Fresh business realm, which is very exciting. And even more importantly, we have the arrival of our 3rd child on the way very early in 2024. So my vision is to be present, calm, and capable with me and my family. And that's what my vision is. So I make all of my decisions based off that vision. Leader sharing, my vision is to be surrounded by people who care and who inspire me. Love that. Fantastic. I love that vision. Any vision along the lines of connecting with people that you love or that light you up is an incredible vision to have. So number 1, when it comes to planning, what is your vision for the 2023 festive season? And you're sitting there going, I don't really know. Well, that's going to be the biggest problem. That's going to be the biggest problem right there, is what is your vision for the 2023 festive season? Rosie sharing, I used to love the season, but struggle now with family dynamics. Would love to re-engage with that. Beautiful. So what would your vision be, Rosie, for this year? Again, that's what we don't like. Here's the thing. When it comes to human behavior and psychology, the brain would rather focus on something it doesn't like than something it potentially might like but doesn't know about. Another way of saying that is the brain or the body, the human being generally chooses a known pain than an unknown pleasure. What that means is, if you're not too sure what you want life to look like, but you're sick and tired of what it currently looks like, the brain and the body will just keep choosing what it doesn't look like, because the brain loves safety, security. It loves knowing things. So take some time to ask yourself, what is your vision for the 2023 festive season? Your vision might be to be conscious, to be clear, to be emotionally present for my kids or family or intimate partner. Your vision might be to break free, to challenge the status quo. Somebody's sharing, I want to be able to go to the events, enjoy them, and not regret it afterwards. Great. So I'm hearing a vision there of you want to have a proud festive season. You want to have a proud festive season. And that is critical to understanding what your vision is. When it comes to planning, there's not this long checklist you need to do, by the way, which is overwhelming and usually leads us to picking up a beverage anyway. It's just understanding, what is my vision? What is my overarching vision? And that must be held in the forefront of your mind, and I'll tell you why. Fantastic. Rosie's sharing, thanks, Tom. Great advice. I'll reset my focus. Resetting your focus is key. It's why vision has come at the start of this class for you. I could give you tips and tricks on how to socialize, how to switch off at the end of the day. I could teach you how to manage mood and emotion, be there for your family. I can teach you all of that. But if you don't have a clear vision, trust me, it's all going out the window. All right. The 6 red flags. Who would like to know the 6 biggest red flags that lead to a high alcohol intake at Christmas time? And I am going to move quite quickly through tonight's class. I'm going to make it easy to digest for you, because I will send the recording out to all of you, which is really cool. And also, if you want more information or more value in any of the quadrants or areas that we go into tonight, just ask me and I can send you some resources. So the 6 red flags, it's critical to know these. Otherwise, you're just going to feel uncomfortable during the festive season and wonder why you're switching off with alcohol. Here's the 6 biggest red flags. Number 1 is expectations. This time of year is when expectations go through the roof. Who agrees? Who here has expectations of themselves? I've got expectations to buy everyone gifts. I've got expectations to open my house on Christmas Day. I've got expectations to do this. I've got expectations to take holidays. Expectations go through the roof at this time of year, and it is one of the top 3 leading causes to stress in our lives. And if you've rocked out with me before, you know stress is the number 1 reason why we're switching off at the end of the day with alcohol. Somebody's sharing a great comment here, which is, after 20 years of being in a relationship, my partner and I have separated, now left with 3 teens, slightly scary and lonely times. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for the vulnerability. Really scary time. The festive season is great for people who are feeling wonderful connection, and anybody who's not, it can be a really tough time. But at the same time, it's an incredible vision for anybody that is fortunate enough to have children. It's great to be able to have a vision. My vision for the past 4 years, ever since I had my first daughter, beautiful Riley, has been to be emotionally available for my kids. And it's brought me to where I am today. It wasn't easy in the beginning, but having the vision I want to be emotionally available for my children has been one of the biggest motivators in my life. Second biggest red flag is what's called time frames. We feel time framed and restricted at this time of year. There's time frames actually happening. Everyone can kind of get away with the end of the year, but does anybody in here notice when it comes to November and everyone starts feeling it? The Christmas rush, the Christmas urge, the festive season. What that means is there's time frames going on. Because we use a January to December calendar year, it's at the end of the calendar year that everybody starts to feel quite stress and a bit of anxiety, because we actually feel, as a national, on a global collective scale, we're actually feeling the pressure of time frames. So time frames is one of the biggest leading causes to stress as well. And along with time frames is assumptions. Okay, so assumptions are our previous assumptions that we've had for many festive seasons before. And if we're looking to change our relationship with alcohol, we need to change our assumptions. So the 3 biggest leading causes of stress and anxiety are expectations, unrealistic expectations, timeframes that don't suit us and don't work for us, and assumptions. Would anybody agree that what you can see on the screen now is the number 1 reason why we might start to feel stress, anxiety, overwhelm, etc., at this time of year? Jump into the chat panel, please let me know. Pretty cool, hey? Pretty cool to understand, pretty cool to realize, because you can actually learn to reduce stress and pressure by looking at your expectations, your timeframes, and your assumptions. And we all have unrealistic expectations, we all have unrealistic timeframes, and we all have unrealistic assumptions of ourselves and others at this time. The 4th red flag is increased social gatherings. So anybody who's on the journey of personal development, any of you who is on the journey of learning to live with choice and freedom, means you're on the journey of learning to be unique and challenging the status quo. So a red flag for you will always be increased social gathering experiences. So any time of year when social gatherings go through the roof, it's a red flag. The reason why it's a red flag is because in order to socialize successfully in this country, you need to remove you have to sacrifice some of your authenticity. It's how socializing works. Even kids 2, 3, 4 years old are starting to do this. They'll sacrifice all of their authenticity to make sure that they can fit in and they're loved and they're not judged and people don't bully them, etc., etc. And so increased social gatherings is always a red flag if you're someone who's looking to be unique, because we're often easily manipulated and influenced by what other people are doing. Number 5, I'm sorry to say it, team, but it's family. I've been in the personal development industry for 10 years. I was a youth direction and success coach for the first 6 of those. And then I've been helping people kick addictions to the curb for the past 6 years. And at the end of the day, families are actually the leading trigger and cause of stress in our lives. And I know it's hard to hear, but that's just how it is. So any times that there's an increased family experience, just always be aware. And that's because I won't dive into it, but yeah, as we all know, families are quite influential, either against us or for us, and can be very triggering. Exactly, Rosie's sharing a huge trigger. That's it. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Leader. And number 6, biggest red flag is suppressed uniqueness. And you'll notice that they kind of tie in hand in hand here. What I shared earlier kind of ties in, which is this is a time of year where the world kind of motivates you to not be unique. And you hear it like this: "Oh, you'll have a drink, won't you?" "No, thanks." "Oh, but it's Christmas. We always have a drink at Christmas." Or, "Hey, we have the Christmas staff party coming up. You'll come there, won't you?" "Oh, I wasn't going to come this year. I wanted to spend some time with my kids or go on a date or whatever it was." And people will say, "Oh, you can't do that. It's Christmas time of year." So the festive season is one of those times where globally, it's almost assumed that you don't get time for yourself. It's not about you. It's about this big festive season thing. So those are the 6 biggest red flags to be aware of: unrealistic expectations, unrealistic timeframes, ridiculous assumptions that just we don't need to have anymore. Like, for example, a lot of people have the assumption Christmas time should be fun. I have an assumption that Christmas time should be enjoyable. We have these assumptions that don't actually match up to our lives. Increased social gatherings, family, and suppressed uniqueness. Did you like those, team? Jump to the chat panel really quickly because I'm aware of the time. We will keep moving forward. But just let me know if that's beneficial and valuable to you right now. Remember those moving forward into the festive season. Thanks for the comments coming through. Wonderful, Justine. Okay. Yeah, loving the comments coming through. Crushing your social events. Team, would it be okay if I shared with you quite quickly the top 5 or 6 strategies that you can implement to start enjoying your social events as opposed to being apprehensive about them? Would that be okay? They'll also reduce your any anxiety, dis-ease, and discomfort so that you can remain committed to the results that it is that you'd like for yourself. Okay, wonderful, fantastic. So number 1, first and foremost, what have you said yes to? And number 2, what have you said no to? Whenever it comes to the festive season, when I'm working with private clients who are starting to feel anxiety or stress, and like I have over 50 individuals that I'm helping at the moment when it comes to changing their relationship with alcohol at this time of year. And one of the first things I always ask them is, what have you said yes to and what have you said no to? Okay, thanks, Giovanna. I love that. And here's why. Most people are taking the assumption from the previous slide that they go to everything that they're invited to and that they should be just wherever they're needed to be, especially in family dynamics. So the first thing you want to look after is before you ever go to a social event, make sure that you've made the decision to go. Now, I know it sounds simple, but most people don't. Most people are making unconscious yeses to people. They got invited to an event, so they'll go. So take a moment. What have you said yes to and what have you said no to? And if you don't have a handful of no's at this time of year, I just feel sorry for you because it's way too hard to keep up in the festive season, let alone saying yes to every event. So what have you said yes to and what have you said no to? And jump into the chat panel right now. Have any of you said no to something yet? Jump into the chat panel right now. Number 3, make your alcohol reduction commitments now. What are your alcohol reduction commitments? The only thing you don't want to do is go to events seeing how you'll feel. Because what I've taught you tonight is that during a moment of discomfort, if you find safety in alcohol, you're going to grab a beverage. When people ask me, Tom, what's the best way to drink less alcohol? I say, I'll first tell you the worst way to drink less alcohol. The hardest way is go to the event and wing it. Make your alcohol reduction commitments now. What are they? Rosie's sharing, also would love help in navigating Christmas Day with very difficult family dynamics. I know the worst thing to do is drink, but I'm usually so challenged. Rosie, you're very lucky. One of the members on our call, you're actually part of our rebuild program. I will actually be looking after that in our rebuild program. And I will also be running a special Christmas Day Facebook Live for all of our members to jump into and enjoy the Christmas Day feeling fresh. So you're looked after in that respect. Excuse me. Always make your alcohol reduction commitments in advance. Never wing it. Winging it just leads to picking up a drink and feeling guilty the next day. So really, what are they? And be honest with yourself. Are you going sober this festive season? Are you just wanting to mind, and be aware of how much or how little you're drinking? Number 4, when it comes to your social events, you got to remember your vision. Remember the start of this class. What is your vision? If you go into a social event and you're not even aware that the reason why you're there is because your vision, which might have been you want to be present and available for your children, or you want to be the best version of yourself, or you want to have one of the most proud festive season experiences ever, you've already missed the boat. You're making it hard for yourself. So number 4 is whenever you go into a social event, remember your vision. I do this to this day. I'm 10 years into my own journey and I still do it. So this Christmas Day, I'll be going in there knowing my vision is I want to be emotionally available and present for my children. So what's going to happen, do you think, if one of my friends or family members says, Tom, can I get you a beer? Or they say, Tom, can I get you a few beers or whatever it might be? What's going to happen? My brain's going to go, well, will that or will that not help me be more present and available for my children? And I make decisions from that place. Hope it's okay to be vulnerable and share with you. Number 5, making me time. Making me time. One of the biggest challenges when it comes to enjoying social events is this, and notice what I said on the screen before, is that when we're socializing, we generally don't make me time. And this is why we feel stress and pressure. We're actually tired. We want time for ourselves. And we feel like to add to an already busy time of year, now we have to please others. Now we have to communicate. Now we have to have small talk. And really, and this is going to sound pretty dark, but really the only way to deal with that is just to be intoxicated while we're doing it. It's okay to be really honest with you. I'm always very honest. So you got to make me time, either in the morning, during the event, or in the evening. And so if you're going to an event, make sure you pencil in 20 to 30 me time. I don't care how busy your life is. We've all got really busy lives, family-wise, professionally, etc., etc. You got to make 20 to 30 minutes of me time. It's hard enough as it is having a busy schedule, having a stressful year, and then to add to it, you got to go to a social event, and before the event, you're just stressing about trying to get there, or you're dealing with kids or family or whatever it is. So make me time is the most important thing. Now, if you're going to a social event, here's a little tip I'll share with you. If you're going to a social event and you want to crush it and feel great about yourself, when you're at the social event, if you're not drinking, every 45 minutes, go for a quick 5-minute walk. Every 45 minutes, go for a quick 45-minute walk. I'll still do this on Christmas Day. I'm probably hosting Christmas Day this year. And every 40 minutes, I'll go for a walk, or I'll go out the back, I'll get some fresh air, or I'll duck up to the bathroom and splash my face. It's these little moments of me time that remind you who you are, and you get to tap into your vision. You get to remind yourself why you're there. It means you crush your alcohol reduction commitments, you'll stay committed to yourself, and you'll feel the way that you want to feel. Yeah, loving those comments coming through. Thanks, Rosie. Number 6, always reflect and provide gratitude for yourself the day after. Always reflect and provide gratitude for yourself. I'm really sick and tired of when I work with someone and all they've ever wanted is to crush a social event sober. They go to a social event sober, and then the next morning, they're already anxious about the next social event. There's no reflection, there's no gratitude. So if you're here to become the best version of yourself, make sure you're reflecting and providing yourself with some gratitude. It's the small steps that make all the difference. And number 7, links in, and number 6 is reward. We have to reward ourselves. It is Christmas time. Please remind yourself that it's also your Christmas. It is also your Christmas. This is your festive season. It's your reward. It's your time for you. And unfortunately, in this country, we've come so far away from that. There's just this huge stress and pressure for it to be about everyone. And at the end of the day, everybody's unhappy and no one's really enjoying it. And everyone's peer pressuring each other. Jump into the chat panel team. Let me know if you like that, crushing your social event. Feeling the way that you'd like. Please let me know if that was really beneficial. We'd love to hear from all of you. And thanks for the comments that have been coming through. Somebody sharing something that really annoys me is when I go in with that vision, which also aligns with weight loss. They only offer sugary drinks or water. If you're socializing sober, it is your job, no matter what, to take your own alcohol-free beverages. Never go to an event without alcohol-free beverages. There's many reasons why. And for those of you that would like a class on that, I have one reserved, so hit me up later. All right. Who would like a 2023 festive season roadmap? Who would like me to clarify the top key takeaways from tonight's call that you can either take a photo of the screen or you can ask me for the recording. I'll send it out tomorrow. Who would like a 2023 festive season roadmap to drinking less and feeling fresh and ultimately having the festive season that you've always wanted to have? Thanks, Lita. Thanks, Justine. Thanks, Rosie. Okay, beautiful. Let's dive into it. Now, I'm looking at the time. We've got 3 minutes. Is it okay if we go 3 minutes over? Would that be okay? Giovanna sharing, just going to ignore the peer pressure and have a vision in place. There we go, Giovanna. That is it. Rosie's sharing, yes, please. And Rosie's sharing, yes, please. Also, how do you smuggle in alcohol-free beverages? Okay, so gotcha. If it's not a residential place you're going to, you're saying it's like a commercial place that you're going to. Pretty much so many commercial places now have alcohol-free beverages. And if not, the safety go-to, which everybody serves, is soda water with fresh lime. And it's with fresh lime. Soda with fresh lime, please. It's nice. It's jazzy. It makes you feel okay. And it's better than a warm glass of water. All right. Your 2023 festive season roadmap from tonight's call. Step 1. I'm just going to move a couple of things out of the way. Step 1. Why will this year be different? Why will this year be different? If you haven't made a decision on this now and you're not clear, it's going to be tough. You're welcome, Isabel. Step 2, TEA. This is a framework and methodology that we teach in our rebuild program, which is designed to rebuild individuals to the best version of themselves that is no longer reliant on alcohol for safety or comfort. And we dive into TEA, and that's what we dive into on the second slide tonight, which was timeframes, expectations, and assumptions. Now, at the end of the day, can you let go and break the effing rules? Excuse my French, but I'm so passionate. Can you let go and break the rules? Those that are free are those that break rules. Okay, I'll say it again. Those that are free are those that break the rules. Traditional norms have set us up for fail. Timeframes, expectations, and assumptions lead us all to drink more than we'd like. So are you willing to break the rules? For example, I break the rules. If I'm sitting down at Christmas lunch and I'm feeling a little bit anxious, I'll say, hey guys, just ducking off to the loo. And I'll go for a walk for 2-3 minutes. That's called breaking the rules. That's not normal, whatever that means. So break the rules. Rosie and other members, you break the rules. When someone asks you for a beverage, you rebel and you say, hey, look, to be honest, I'd have a soda water with a lime, please. Got to be willing to break the rules, team. It'll make you feel fantastic. Step 3, who do you need to be? Who do you need to be? Would love to hear from all of you right now. Type into the chat panel right now. Who do you need to be this festive season? I need to be open, playful, and committed to being emotionally available and present for my children and my beautiful wife. I need to be open and playful. Rosie sharing best version of myself. Love that, Rosie. Justine sharing myself. Love that, Rosie. Love that, Justine. And whenever someone says I need to be myself, the term is really I need to be myself and more. Because part of this journey is about developing the best version of you, which means, and I know this isn't negative, but it's not being the person you were last year. Because if being myself last year was people pleasing, being myself this year might be rebelling, right? Challenging the status quo. Remember, this journey is about you becoming more of you and getting back in touch with who you actually are. So that'll look like you're growing and changing. Ivana's sharing, I need to be honest with me and stop worrying about what other people think. Love that. Step 4, saying no to others is just a way of saying yes to yourself. I used to really struggle. With saying no to other people. I used to hate saying no to drinks or invitations or whatever it might be. And when I learned for the first time back in 2015 that saying no to others is just saying yes to yourself, everything changed right then and there. I realized that I wasn't saying no to others. I was just saying yes to me. And if that comes across as a no to them, that's their problem, not mine. So if you don't want to have a beverage, you say no, thank you, and you smile as you walk away because you learnt the art of saying yes to yourself. And if you don't want to go to the work Christmas party next year, even though 99.99% of the staff are coming, you say, unfortunately, I can't make it because I've got other commitments. And you walk away smiling because you just said yes to yourself. Loving the comments coming through. Who loves that one, by the way? That'll change your whole life, team. Step 5, prioritize more me time than any other time of year. Here's a little stat for you or insight. The best time to prioritize you is when you think you least have time for yourself. I'll say it again. The best time to prioritize you is when you think you have least or you least have the time for yourself. It's the same response I give to when someone says, what's the best time to drink less alcohol? I say the time in the year when you think it's the worst time. That's why in our rebuild program that we run, I'll be running a festive season challenge for our members because I always look after our members during the festive season time. It's not the best time to let your hair down. It's the best time to step up. It's such a great time. If you can stick to your alcohol reduction commitments during the festive season, come February, March, April, it becomes a hell of a lot easier. Everybody knows how to drink less during dry July. Everybody knows how to drink less when it's winter and there's not many social events. If you can learn to drink less and stick to commitments for become the best version of yourself during the festive season, you will become unstoppable in 2024. And making me time is nothing more than a learnt skill set. And here's a banger of a line, something that it's a banger of a line, something that I came up with a few years ago. It's a way of thinking, and it's realizing step 6, you never have to be anywhere with anyone at any time. It's a belief that you never have to be anywhere with anyone at any time. And what this does is it completely debunks and breaks down the time frames, the expectations, and the assumptions that we have on ourselves. When you start to believe that I never have to be anywhere with anyone at any time, you enter the space of what's called choice. You'll see a massive reduction in stress, a massive reduction in anxiety, and you'll be one massive step closer to prioritizing you, making time for yourself, and enjoying who you're being during the festive season. Again, because the biggest problem at the festive season is people don't feel that they're allowed to be themselves. They've got to be there from everyone else. Jump into the chat panel. Let me know if you love that. That'll change your life. If you write anything down from tonight's class, make sure you write that down. You never have to be anywhere with anyone at any time. This means you can say you're going to an event and then you can cancel. You can go to an event, and if it's 7:30 at night, you start to feel anxious and you want to grab a drink, you're allowed to leave. You can change plans rapidly. You have flexibility. It's called mental flexibility, something we teach our Drink Less Feel Fresh members. We create mental flexibility in ourselves to be different, to be unique. We can say to someone, yeah, I'm coming to that event. And they say, oh, you know, you're going to be on the drink with me. I can't wait. I'll bring some bubbles. You can say, yeah, I will. And when you get there, you're allowed to say, you know what? I changed my mind. You never have to be anywhere with anyone at any time. Jump into the chat panel. Let me know if you love that. That is your 2023 festive season roadmap. If you can stick to 4 out of 6 of these, you will completely change your life. And yes, it is. Somebody sharing, is it that simple? This is fantastic. Yes, Giovanna, one of the things that the alcohol reduction industry have unfortunately done is they have massively overcomplicated alcohol reduction. They've fed fear into us. They've made us believe that we are addicted to the extent that we can't create change. We are beautifully unique. We have incredible assets and characteristic traits like putting ourselves first. You have the ability to say yes to yourself. May it be challenging? Yes. Is it still worth a crack? Shit, yeah. You're welcome, Justine. I'm glad. And my question for you, oh, sorry, I should say, actually, I was really excited to say Merry Christmas to all of you. All of you who are Drink Less Feel Fresh members, I know there's a couple of you on the call that are already our Rebuild members, and you have access to our deep Rebuild Your Relationship with Yourself program. But for those of you that aren't as well, and it's your first class with me, or maybe you've attended a couple of these free classes, I want to wish you a very, very Merry Christmas. I hope you've absolutely loved today's class. Please jump into the chat panel. Let me know what you loved most about the class. The best way you can thank me for this time and this insight is to give me some feedback. Would love to hear from all of you. And of course, as always, a really warm welcome to any of you who are really, if you're serious and committed about rebuilding the best version of you, if you're so committed that you want to rebuild the best version of you to the extent that you don't rely on alcohol for safety, comfort, or security, and you want to do it in a fun, loving environment and community of other individuals that are experiencing the same vision, then please feel free to let me know. And I can chat to you later this week about coming on board our incredible rebuild program, which is all about rebuilding your relationship with alcohol and rebuilding your relationship with yourself. You're welcome, Rosie. So good to see you here as always. Isabel, love to see you here. You're on so many of these classes, which is just fantastic. Justine sharing. Thanks, Tom. Love it. You're welcome, Justine. Really looking forward to rocking out with you shortly. Isabel sharing. Love the honesty, being the best version of yourself. Yeah, here's to being the best version of us. Giovanna sharing, Tom, brilliant. I can't wait to listen to this again, especially coming up to a big girly catch up on the weekend. Giovanna, please send me a private email or message me on Facebook and request my How to Crush Any Social Event Sober Masterclass, and I will send it to you. And if you watch that before the weekend, you will have the time of your life without drinking. So please send me an email or a message, and anybody else that wants that, send it over. Leaders loving hearing about it, the different options. Awesome. So good to see you here. Yeah, beautiful. All right, team, I can't see any questions coming through. Here's the drinking lesson, feeling fresh. Merry Christmas. Big love to you, everybody that you care about, and all of your families. Here's to backing yourself. Here's to drinking less and feeling fresh. And at the end of the day, here's to being the best version of you. And also take it easy on yourself. Never let the thought of wishing you would drink less give yourself a hard time at Christmas time. If there's ever a time to go easy on yourself, don't let that be an excuse, obviously, to go and drown yourself in alcohol. But if there's ever a time to go easy on yourself, it's this time of year. You and I have enough on our plate, let alone saying, oh my God, I drank too much. I'm going to give myself the worst day ever. Be available, be open, be loving, be caring to yourself and the people that you care most about. And that's where true change begins. You're very welcome, Giovanna. You're very welcome. I'm glad you're loving all of the value. You're an absolute perfect candidate for the rebuild program. So we'll have to chat about that. Engagement is incredible. All right, team. Big love to you all. Can't see any questions coming through. Hit me up privately if you need anything. And yeah, Merry Christmas. Bye for now.